Hey parents, Mr. Jim here to tell you why kids love learning with Osmo's Genius Starter Kit. Osmo uses real tangible pieces that look and feel just like toys, combining them with immersive digital experiences to create fun, whole child learning adventures. They'll have a blast with the Genius Starter Kit, playing games that explore math, reading, and more. Just in time for the holidays, get up to 40% off select kits and games. Order today at playosmo.com. That's playosmo.com. Osmo, learning well played.
Hello, critter protectors. Mr. Jim here, and welcome to Kids Animal Stories, a place where there's always a mystery and adventure around every single corner. If you love critters of all shapes and sizes, I need you on our Critter Protector team. Join our adventure as we learn about critters from around the world and in our backyards. Well, my friends, are you ready for today's adventure? Me too! Let's go!
The waters of South Florida were very warm today. Swimming in the shallow water was something that Oliver the peacock bass loved to do best. His 2-foot-long body glided through the water. For most of his days, he spent swimming and waiting to ambush his prey. As a peacock bass, some of his favorite prey were minnows and crayfish. He had a tendency to really love small fish, so that was what he always looked for.
I wonder how my family came from South America up to Florida, he thought.
Wow, that must have been a long way to travel. Oliver's mom and dad had come from the Amazon River basin, but when it was time to spawn, they had actually moved to South Florida, specifically to a large canal in Palm Beach County.
I love my home,
thought Oliver as he swam through the warm waters. It was a beautiful day, and he was ready to find a good-sized lunch. He had an excellent appetite. Do you know how to swim? Have you ever swam in a pool or a lake? Me too, but I don't think I'm ever going to be looking to eat small fish in there, right? No, I'm not a peacock bass, and I don't think you are either. Are you? Oliver was very beautiful, especially as he swam. His scales were olive green and white, with hints of orange and red. He had dark-colored stripes with some dark-colored spots as well. As the water and the sun bounced off his scales, he looked beautiful in the water. As Oliver swam, he passed by a few of his friends.
Hey, Oliver, do you want to come and play with us downstream?
Asked Jill. Jill is a bluegill fish, and she loved a good adventure.
I can't just yet. I'm ready for some lunch,
said Oliver. He was searching for a good place to hide. When Oliver was hungry, he would hide in the weeds along the side of the canal walls to find his prey for lunch. Jill decided to swim away. She wasn't hungry for lunch, and she wanted to find somebody to play with. Oliver swam up to the edge of the canal. There he saw a lot of weeds growing near the side. That would be the perfect spot to be able to catch some prey. Then he would have lunch so he could find Jill and they could play together later. That'd be perfect. Jill was really good at racing through the water. Very slowly, Oliver swam into the weeds along the edge of the canal. He tucked himself in neatly and decided to wait for his lunch to come by. He hoped it wouldn't take too long because he was really hungry today.
Maybe a nice bunch of minnows will swim by and I can go catch up with Jill,
thought Oliver excitedly. As Oliver was waiting, a few fishers were walking along the shore. They were headed down to the canal to do some fishing.
Hey, Dad, what do you think we might catch today?
Asked Billy, the smaller fisherman.
I don't know, son, but remember, it's just for fun. Let's try our best to get a big one, though,
said the father. Billy was happy to hear this. He loved to go fishing with his father. Billy and his dad found a great spot on the shoreline, right above the canal waters. They opened up their chairs, started to get all their gear ready. First, they took out their fishing poles and started to make sure their lines were right. Then they opened their tackle boxes. Inside their tackle boxes held all their bait so that a fish could come and bite onto their hook. "So what bait do you want to use today, son?" asked Billy's father. Billy thought about it for a minute.
I think I want to try the floating minnows. They look really neat. If I was a fish, I would surely want one."
Billy's father laughed and handed him a floating minnow. Billy took it gently and attached it to the end of his fishing line. Once he was done, he waited for his father. "All right, son, cast your line in and let's see what we can catch," said his father. Billy and his father both cast their lines in together and sat back in their chairs. Now all they had to do was wait patiently for a bite. Meanwhile, down below in the waters of the canal, Oliver was still waiting for his lunch. "Yo, I wonder where all the minnows are today," he thought. He'd been waiting for a very long time and his tummy was starting to grumble because he was very hungry. Just as Oliver was wondering where all the fish were, he looked up and saw the most delicious looking giant minnow floating right in front of him. He had never seen a minnow look so perfectly delicious. "Righteous! Finally!" said Oliver. He started to swim over to the single minnow so that he could have a good lunch. But, oh dear, just as he bit into the minnow, something yanked him from his mouth. Oliver tried to pull away, but it started yanking him even harder, and now, he was being pulled up to the surface. Was it an alien? Oh no, Oliver seems like he's in a lot of trouble. What just pulled him out of the water? I hope it wasn't some kind of alien. I'm not sure exactly what was going on with that very delicious looking minnow. Do you know what just happened to Oliver the peacock bass? I'm not so sure. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens on the next episode of Kids Animal Stories. We'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Hey friends, I need your help celebrating a birthday. Drum roll, please. Happy birthday, Gus, who's turning 5 years old. Gus loves dangerous animals, searching for animals at the park nearby and finding crawdads at the creek. Wow, Gus, that's so awesome. I'm so glad that you love protecting critters just like I do. And I'm so glad that we got to celebrate you and your big day on the show. Happy 5th birthday, Gus. Great job. You listened all the way to the end. I want to give a very special shout out to some critter protectors. I want to say hey to Nora from Utah, Cole from Connecticut, Kellen and Harper from Canada, Denali from Oregon, River from Washington, and Timothy from Virginia. I'm so glad that you're all critter protectors. We definitely could not be protecting all the critters without you, my friends. If you want to join our critter protector team, have your parents look down in the show notes below to see how you can become a critter protector today. Well, friends, I hope you have a super duper day, and I will see you on our next adventure.